Hello and welcome to Regi's Recess, where you get real talk about real relationships. Of course, I'm your host, Regi Rodgers, renowned relationship coach, singles empowerment coach, and author of the book, Love at First Spirit. We're here on 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte. And of course, we've got another great show for you. It's here. Let me say that. It is here. I have been talking about the month of August, what we're going to be talking about. And so it is here. This month, I'm telling you guys, you better hold on to your babies. You better buckle up. Do whatever you got to do, because this month is going to be hot and heavy. You know, breaking up really is so hard. Breakups are never easy for anyone. And so this month, we're going to be talking about it's over. I'm saying bye. It's over. Sayonara. See you later. I'm saying bye. So I've got a good guest tonight. As always, I always try to bring people who are experts in their field, whatever we're talking about. This one is funny. We're going to say she's an expert in her field because my guest tonight is Rose Christopher. So you're saying tonight, I know you guys are watching this live on Facebook, but y'all remember I come on 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte at night. So for my night crowd, my guest tonight, and for those of you that are watching me live right now, Facebook, I've got Rose Christopher. Now, before I even have her to say one word, let me explain. She is, quote unquote, a serial dater. Let me get this right. She calls herself a serial dater that ends up breaking up but has mastered the art of getting over it. Did you catch that? She has mastered the art of getting over. Rose, what's happening?
How are you, Regi?
Did I do your intro justice?
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, I did the intro justice?
Perfect.
All right.
There we go.
Good stuff. You know, it's here, you guys. We are talking about it's over. I'm saying bye-bye. You know, and as I started off by saying, breakups are never easy for anyone. In fact, as I was looking at this, they say that breakups are incredibly emotional. They can feel like World War III. And after all the tears, after all the screams, and after all the splitting up, that's when the real stuff goes down. I could have used another word for stuff, but we're going to keep it. That's when the real stuff goes down.
We're going to keep it
clean.
You
fill it in.
I'm going to keep it clean.
It starts with an S too. But that's when the real stuff goes down. Women all, but here's what I learned. Women often handle this in totally opposite ways than men do. And what I want to do tonight, I want to shed some light on the toll that it takes when there is a breakup, and hopefully help you to have an understanding how these emotions fluctuate, how we go up and down with our emotions. So we're going to talk about the breakup process. And so, Rose, I want to start off tonight before we get into this breakup process. I want to just talk to you. serial dating. What does that mean for you? What is that?
Well, I think I've been through plenty of relationships, you know, and the process that goes along with them. And as I've gotten older, the process gets shorter and easier. You
know, I think it has a lot to do with as we become more seasoned. Mm-hmm. I don't like to use that word I feel like I'm not getting older, I'm getting seasoned, more seasoned. Mm-hmm. So as we become more seasoned, I think our selection process becomes more particular. We're more particular about who we want, what we want, who we want to bring in our energetic space, because our energy is very important
very much
to us. So when you say that, you know, we become more selective. I realize, you know, just in talking to you before we started today, you're coming out of a breakup.
Correct.
Let's talk about that.
Well, where do we start?
Okay. You know, further in the show, we're going to talk about the process. We're going to talk about the breakup process.
Okay.
And I'm sure I'll touch on some things in this breakup process that you'll be able to identify with. But I just want to hear your personal story in, you know, coming out of a recent breakup, a serial dater coming out of a recent breakup. Your emotions are probably fluctuating, different things you're feeling. in the dating world, what have you learned dating world wise?
You have to know yourself. I think we have an idea of what we want in a relationship or what we want in a person, and we go for it, we dive in, but things aren't the fairy tale that you thought they were going to be. People have different careers, they have children, they have this, when you first get started, it's, oh, let's go to dinner, you enjoy one another's company. But when you start to really spend time with a person, you get to know the person. You get to see what you like, what you dislike, and the other way around.
Right.
So you're caught on the idea, oh, I love this person, I like his energy, I like when we go out, I like when we travel, but there's another side.
Right.
And can you live with that side all of the time? So, you start to discover your differences.
How long does it take you typically to find, because what we do, male or female, we typically give our best presentation. That's what we give on the front end. It's the best presentation. We want to show our best selves. Sometimes our best self is not our real self.
Sometimes our best self is our sober self, and then you add a little alcohol to the mix, or you add a little something else,
You're really
and
not
another
showing. Then you're seeing
another
somebody
side comes out.
totally different.
And then sometimes that, I myself, I've been guilty where I don't remember who I was.
Okay.
That, and I think alcohol destroys a lot of relationships.
You think?
Well, I know.
You
I know.
think?
I know. Experience. Okay, I know.
Like you think,
No,
really?
let's keep it real, okay?
No, alcohol, when someone is what we call inebriated, there's a behavior that goes along with the inebriation.
And there's a numbness as well.
Okay, we're going to talk about
All right.
why people get numb to hide, their real selves. That's actually a part of the process. I want to talk about that later on, but that's definitely keep that. We're going to put a paper clip there and come back to that because that is very, very important. That numbness piece. Why? Because some people feel like that's what they have to do in order to function.
To get through that date. Let me get through this date. I have something going on inside of me, and I need to become this stronger person. Let me have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Let me get a shot. Let me have a glass of whiskey.
Yeah.
Then you start to develop into what your comfort zone is, but that's not who I saw when I came on this date with.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. I want to know, serial dater. When I hear serial dater, that's somebody who dates often. That serial dater is somebody who dates often. And I may be misrepresenting you, but in the serial dater, someone who dates often but has mastered the art of breaking up and getting over it. When I say breaking up, getting over it, it's a process.
It is a process.
It's a process. And if you've done that a number of times, when we say serial dater,
of course,
you've done that a number of times, what has been some of your takeaways? What have you learned through that process?
Well, when it's said and done and you guys are volatile towards one another and you need time, space, breathing room, you have to get back to the core of who you are. Many times in a relationship, we lose who we are.
Yeah.
I lose who I am. Like I'm trying to, be mother, grandma, businesswoman, and then girlfriend,
boss, babe,
everything. I'm wearing all the hats, okay? But somebody's going to get the crap end of the stick. Somebody's gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Whether it be the other person or yourself, and then tension arises, and then you have a volcano. You need to step away. You need to breathe. And many people don't do that.
So
even if you're in a relationship, sometimes you guys need to go to the other room, go outside, go for a walk, take a deep breath. But we'll just one up one another until you're just ready to snap. And many people don't know how to stop, breathe, and take a step back and find yourself. Is this who I am? Is this how I want to treat my woman? Is this how I want to treat my man?
I think DMX came up with a song that actually confirms what you just said. Stop, drop, shut it down, and reopen up shop.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to stop, drop, shut it down, and then reopen up shop. When you shut it down, that means you got to really shut everything down. Your emotions
your mind,
are high.
Your
mind is running rampant and lucid. Your mind is all over the place. You're scattered, and sometimes you just have to get to a place where what I call is quieting your soul and your spirit.
Amen.
So that once you can get to that place and you quiet it, you shut it down, so that what you're thinking is not disgusting thoughts, or it's not what we call stinking thinking.
I agree with you.
You start to ponder on those things that are now able to empower you and to reinvigorate you so that you don't stay in that rut. See, because a rut is really the root word for routine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you change that routine that you can really break that, getting out of that rut. So that's why you have to shut it down before you reopen up shop. So now, in the process of where you are now, I'm curious, like, are we months out, not to, what, has it been, because it's pretty, it's been pretty soon,
Well,
right?
the cycle was break up for a week, get back, break up for a week, the routine. But then you finally just get to a point where you break up, time apart, and cordially talking, because I said to him earlier, I don't really have exes that I don't communicate with. They've become my friends because we learned that we're just not meant to be in a commitment, but we're in a commitment friendship because we're always committed to our friendship. I just can't be your husband, your wife,
girlfriend, fiance,
spend every night with you and cook dinner, and that's not the relationship that we have.
And in saying that, I want to help somebody that's watching, because we're going to take a station identification break here in a moment. But before we do, I want to just help somebody who's watching, because just because the two of you may not have gotten along, or you didn't get along, and you split, and you went, it was a breakup, doesn't mean that person is a bad person. They may have done some bad things, some horrible things, but I just don't like when you flip it and you talk about that person, because how many months did you spend with that person? You said you loved that person. So let's not talk about whether it's male or whether it's a male talking about the female or the female talking about the male. It just wasn't a fit for you.
Exactly.
But they may be a fit for someone else, and someone else may not have the experience that you had, so that person just didn't work for you. I think a lot of times we start bad-mouthing the other individual. Oh my God, this person. Please. When we grow up, we know better, we do better.
Exactly.
So that doesn't mean they're right, you're wrong, doesn't mean you're wrong and they're right. It just meant they weren't a fit for you. And your takeaway becomes, going forward, you have to now discover who's a fit for you. Mm-hmm. You know what's not a fit for you because of what you just came out of. So now you got to discover what is a fit for you. Hey, you're listening to 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte. And you're listening to Regi's Recess, Real Talk, Real Relationships, and we're on every Wednesday. And tonight, as I said, it's here, where we are actually talking about it's over. Somebody asked me, how did I come up with the topic? Well, I really came up with the topic, it's over. It's a play on words because, it's August, summer. Summer's over. It's really over. But I want to tie it into relationships for those, because there is a cycle. It's what they call a life cycle. People actually start to date they look for committed relationships in the autumn. That's, if you look at the study, people typically start to get into a committed relationship in the autumn. But in the summer, they say there's something with the heat and hookups.
It's too hot.
People typically want to just hook up during the summer. It's the heat and the hookups. That's when the women are wearing the Daisy Dukes. And I just told on my age. I don't even know if anybody uses that terminology anymore.
I'm
Daisy
with you.
Dukes. But that's when the women are wearing less. And it just, so you go from those spring flings to those summer hookups. And so it's over now. And so we want to get some clarity. So if you want to call in, let me give you a number that you can call in. We'll take questions. We'll take comments. And if you want to call in, you can call 909-253-8808, 909-253-8808. And those of you who are in Charlotte, you'll hear me tonight in Charlotte, 385-212-HEAT, 385-212-HEAT. That's for my Charlotte crowd. I will be on tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 87.9 Heat FM. But those of you who are watching me live, your number is 909-253-8808. So, Rose, here's what I want to do. I want to talk about this breakup process. And I believe that there are 7 things that you have to understand as it pertains or relates to the breakup process.
Okay.
So we're going to take it phase 1, phase 2. We're going to give 7 phases of the breakup process.
Counsel me, baby.
So when I talk about the 7 phases of the breakup process, I want to extrapolate from you, pull out the emotions that you felt, and so that you could, I want you to, that you can relate, that I'm on point as it relates to what women or what we feel when we're going through.
Okay.
First phase is depression.
I think my first phase was like rage. Like, I can't believe this. And then the depression sets in. You're sitting there alone, like, what did I do wrong? What could I have fixed? Why am I not good enough? And when I spent time alone, it's not that I wasn't good enough. See, many women think they're not good enough.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Because that comes in the dialogue that you have one-on-one with yourself, and that's a part of the process.
All right.
Because see, you are spot on.
Okay.
Because in the depression process, this is pretty much the saddest state that a woman can be in.
You're in the shower crying.
Yeah. This is where you are a complete emotional wreck. And it's okay to be that.
Right.
Don't hold your head down. Don't feel like it's a problem. It's okay, because that's exactly how you want to be, because you are at this moment feeling the breakup. You're feeling it. Your emotions are coming out. So you got the anger, you got the frustration.
Now I'm getting older. I'm wasting more of my time. I'm investing 3 years into this. I thought this was going to last forever. So now you feel like you just wasted time that you can't get back. And I think
that's the thing. Your time becomes our time is our biggest commodity.
It is.
We can't go back
and you
get
just
that
feel like you
back.
wasted time. I put all of this effort into this to be with nothing.
To end up right here.
To end up right here.
So now
where I started in the last relationship. right where I ended in the last relationship.
Right back, square one. So you got the anger, you got the frustration, you even have the jealousy, you have the sadness, you have the loneliness, and you have the fear.
Fear. What am I going to do now? Am I going to get another man?
So now,
well, of course I am.
And so now let's look at this from cooking. So you take the anger, you take the frustration, you take the jealousy, you take the sadness, you take the loneliness, you take the fear, and you put all of this in a pot. And you let all this simmer, and you let all of this simmer together, and guess what happens?
You grow.
It boils over into the steaming hot mess.
Is that when you're already over? When you're
done? No, that's when you're in this. You're in the depression.
When you're in this, in the depression.
So now you become this hot mess.
Yes.
Because you're depressed.
Yes.
And so during this time, you don't really have a grasp.
Focused.
Yeah, you don't have a grasp on your thoughts. You don't have a grasp on your emotions.
Exactly.
And everything and anything reminds you of that person.
Yes. Anything. Or you run into someone in the store. Oh, where's you and so-and-so? And oh, I miss you guys.
They just pulled you right back in.
Pulled me right back in. I was like, oh, we had so many good times.
But there's 2 rules in this state. 2 rules in this state. Rule 1, you got to let it out. Rule 2, do not under any circumstance see them. Oh God, I just touched something. Rule 1, you got to let it out. Rule 2, do not under any circumstance see them. I don't know, you guys are squirming. You guys are out there squirming like he can't be. Listen, if you want to get past this, my job.
You're right, because many people will
go right back in.
I have to see him right, and it's not the time. Like, you're angry, he's angry. It could end up in a domestic call. I mean, really, but this could happen. And it's just because you didn't give yourself the time to think. You're still in the pot.
You're still in that pot, simmering.
You're simmering.
Hot mess.
And then if you go back instantly, it's a done deal.
So you feeling me?
I feel you.
All right, let's go to phase 2.
I'm trying to act it out for him.
Phase 2 is numbness. Phase 2, numbness. Now, this is the actual sad part. It's the part where you don't have any more tears to cry or anger to feel or energy to eat or care about anything in general. And not much goes on in this period except for a ton of thinking. This is when you start really beating yourself up. This stage can last anywhere from a few days to up to several weeks. In this numbness stage. And there is an unnatural amount of self-doubt or you start doubting yourself. You are analyzing and trying to figure out where it actually failed.
Can I say something about that?
Please.
Though? I think some people never get out of their numbness phase. I think they get numb and then they jump into another relationship. And then they're numb and they keep repeating the cycle, and then they get into another relationship. They never unnumb themselves to find themselves and what they really want in a relationship. I think they just like the idea of being in one. They don't like being lonely. They fear being lonely. So they're just going to go to anyone and anything numb. And that's a problem with many of the relationships.
That's such a great point. It is. and we're going to talk about that because that's what I call, Rose, the Tarzan syndrome. Why? Because you swing from branch to branch. And you see these, you just go
You're living in a constant, you're drinking,
drinking,
having sex, you're going from one to the next. And your escapism is addiction. You are addicted to either the sex, the alcohol, the drugs, the gambling, and all of it in one. And you're just one hot mess looking for another hot mess to spend some time with.
Yeah, you're looking for
somebody. You're wasting your time and energy in such a negative way.
Validate your hot mess.
Exactly.
That's what you're looking for, validation of where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people do that, but it's not so much the addiction that's not what it is. I agree there is an addiction element.
Okay. But
the base of that is really getting away from the reality.
Escapism.
It's escapism. So that's the root of it. You want to get away from the reality of what you're feeling. You don't want to feel like
your reality is numb escapism. That becomes your reality.
Absolutely. So we go from depression, we go from numbness, but here's phase 3 of this breakup process is what I call the justification.
Okay.
Justification is this stage provides the first sign of light after a very dark and long and winding tunnel. You have gone through every emotion, you've gone through every memory, you are starting to understand why things turned out the way they did. You no longer blame yourself, but you see both faults. So now, okay, you've come out of this numbness, yes. So now you're starting to kind of see somewhat clearly. It's the justification process now. That's justification phase. You're not so much. You were beating yourself up. Now you're not beating yourself up.
You have to start forgiving yourself, and then you have to forgive the other person because you're no peach either. You know, just because someone did something wrong doesn't mean that the way you reacted to it was the right way to react to it. Because your behavior is just as foul as that person's behavior. There's no justification. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Absolutely.
Just because this person cheated on you didn't mean you had to go cheat back. You could have walked away, forgiven, whatever, but you're just as wrong. There's no justification that you did it, now it's my turn. You have to just say, hey, you have to learn to say, I don't want this in my life. I don't want to have to always think and worry about every time he leaves the house, is he going to be cheating on me? You know, you have to learn to either walk away or just say, well, I like a cheater.
This is coming from a serial dater. I like a cheater.
But at least when the honesty's there, you get to choose.
Hey, listen, you're listening to Reggie's Recess on 87.9 Heat FM, and those of you that are joining me on Facebook Live, I hope you're enjoying what you're here. I want you to call me, give me some questions, give me some comments. Call me 909-253-8808. Those of you that are joining me on Facebook Live, 909-253-8808. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear your comments. And then tonight, those of you who will hear me on 87.9, 385-212, HEAT, H-E-A-T. And we're talking about it again. We are talking about it's over. I'm saying bye-bye, sayonara, arrivederci, whatever you want to say. You know, give a kiss, blow it away, whatever.
Love you.
And so before we took our break, we talked about the process, the breaking up process and the emotions that typically you feel. The first phase was depression. Second phase was numbness. Third phase was justification. Let's look at the next phase, which is rebounding. Rebounding. You have been sulking for an unhealthy amount of time. So you might as well move on with it and get back on the horse and ride it. This is what you start saying. I got to get back on the horse and I got to ride it. Now you just want to feel like someone still wants you and you just want to have some fun. So you go out just because you want to feel like somebody is still
You need
paying
some
attention to
attention.
you. Exactly. Somebody's still
You need
paying
some love
attention to
tonight.
you. And you just want to have some fun. So it's what we call rebound dating. What do you think about rebound?
Well, I've done it many times.
I'm sure a lot of people
I've done it
have.
many times. As I've gotten older and I'm getting older, I don't know if I like the idea of rebound dating, simply because I don't like to give my energy to anyone and anything. I don't want to, I've done the, whatever in the dating life, and I just don't like giving my energy away. I don't need to have sex with you to validate that I still got it. I know I got it, honey. You're here right now, okay? I don't have to sleep with you to validate that. So
rebound dating is what what I call in my world is called impulsive dating. Impulsive dating never works.
And if you go back
typically
to the
short-lived.
numbness, if you don't fix that, it
That's
becomes
what
a
you're gonna be.
cycle
You're
that
gonna
we
be right in that
discussed
rebound
earlier. So,
aspect.
there's a lot of broken people out there still searching for love in all the wrong places. And I think it starts with self. You can rebound. You can go give your time and energy to this one. Go through the same headache you just went through with your ex. There's nothing guaranteed with who you're selecting or.
Well, the rebound is actually used as
Just go out and get some one night.
It's used as a conduit to help you get through what you're going through. So you don't actually look at this person as typically long term, because rebound dating is what we call impulsive dating to help you get through what it is you're feeling and you're going through, and you just want to have some fun and you just want to feel like somebody's paying attention to you.
Right.
Because what you're saying, and when they go back, see, there's two R's. There's a rebound dating and then there's what I call return dating.
Okay.
Return is when you go back to the person
Okay.
that you left.
Okay.
And you forget why you left, but then all of a sudden your mind tells you, they were so great, why don't I go back and give it another try? And then after you get back into it, you recognize and realize,
The patterns.
now I remember
Exactly.
why I actually left the first time. That's return dating. Rebound dating is just picking somebody at random, and you're going out and you're just trying to use that person as a rebound to get over what it is you're really going through.
I've done that. I think now I've grown a little bit past that. I'm not looking to rebound. I'm looking to spend more time with myself. Spend that time learning and discovering me. And sometimes you can do that when you go out, hang out at a bar, go to a happy hour. Just having a conversation with somebody can bring that back. Or just being around, going back to hang out with your friends that know you for who you are. Good side, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
But they still let you know the strength, the woman that you are. They know you. That's why they're there with you. Sometimes we lose our friends and we push our friends away to satisfy our partner. But those friends you can always go back to rediscover yourself, because they always have your back.
Consistent.
And they're the ones that are going to tell you, hey, your crap stinks. Rose, you're not right in that situation. Have you ever looked at yourself? They're the ones that are going to tell you the harsh truth that, everyone else might be lying to you about.
And you probably have a small amount of friends that will actually speak to you that way, or that
Absolutely.
you will allow to speak to you that way.
Exactly.
A very small amount. People who have proven themselves to be consistent in your life and true friends in your life,
Valuable friends in your life
through the years, and you value their opinion. So
because many times our own ego can get in the way of accountability and wanting to rectify a situation or a relationship or a friendship, or even wanting to listen to somebody else's advice.
Yeah, it's important, and I think you've touched on it a couple of times here. now you got to go back and become reacquainted with yourself. And so there are times and points where you just have to now get to know you for
Love
who
thyself.
you really are. To thine own self be true. You're absolutely right. To thine own self be true, and love thyself. So we got phase 4, but
Okay.
now you're talking about love thyself, to thine own self be true. This is when you get into phase 5, which is actually what I call self work. You got to
Okay.
put some work in now.
You do.
And in this stage 5, this is now you have you somewhat starting to feel like you're getting your mojo back.
Right.
You
You
got
your flow. You got your flow back. You can
you're-
just go and flow.
Got your rhythm. You're
Yeah,
understanding.
I saw you give me eye contact, cutie.
You're understanding what is exuding from you.
That's a nice
is
jacket
good
you have
energy.
on.
Oh, you like this jacket?
I like it. The bracelet goes well with it.
All right, look at this. She's putting it in.
See, my mojo's coming back.
Her
My mojo's coming back.
So you, at this point, your mojo's coming back, and you feel like you are exuding good energy. You feel like you still have it. You're now, okay, maybe I didn't lose it. I still have it. You know, the rebounding has at least brought back your confidence.
Right.
You know, because maybe it has shared with you. Oh yeah, I got it. You know, it didn't last with that person, but I feel pretty good about, you know, where I am at this stage. And you're going to the gym.
Yes, I
in
go
this
on
stage.
walks.
Yeah, well, see, you're now more.
I'm in tune
becoming
with
more
nature.
Self-centered.
Yes.
You want to understand that oneness. You want to be at peace.
Absolutely.
You're reading books. You're reading self-help books.
Personal development.
You're reading the Bible.
Yes.
You're reading things that are spiritual. You feel like you're getting healthy, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. So that's that self-work stage. You're in that stage now where you are now creating a good rhythm
Yes.
for yourself.
And things are starting to come to you. I mean, when you're down and depressed and you're, oh, my man left me, you're looking down. When people are down, they're looking down. But when you're starting to feel better about yourself, you're looking up. You want eye contact. You want to smile at somebody. Their smile will cause you to smile. So, you know, stop looking down, ladies. Look up. Look up, ladies.
Look
See
up.
yourself.
Okay, but hold on. I want you to understand this next stage, because just like what she just did, you can start getting overconfident and I got this. And then here comes phase 6. Guess what phase 6 is?
Another player.
The relapse. The relapse. Please understand. The relapse. You see how she just got so cocky and confident? That's what some
see, now
people
I'm sitting
do.
back.
Because in stage or phase 6 is what we call the relapse. Now, in this could be inevitable. I could say that the relapse could be inevitable, but I don't want to make an absolute. For some, it is inevitable.
It is.
And they end up relapsing.
I'm
and then,
guilty.
And then there are others who continue on their journey. They don't look back, and they actually say, I am saying bye-bye, it's over, and I am saying bye-bye. But then there are others who relapse. Now they done went through all of this work. The self-work, the numbness, the depression, and they've gone through all the justification. They've gone through all of this work, and they get to phase 6 and then end up relapsing. Because of that, see, that you can't feel like you get so cocky, conceited, and arrogant, and all it takes one phone call, like Michael Frank said on that song. Don't touch that phone. Don't touch that phone. Right?
But let me say something.
Please.
That's not always necessarily a bad thing. Because if two people can spend time apart, rediscover themselves, and become accountable for, how was I wrong? Why am I getting held up on this? Is he really a bad person? Or am I just being unfair and a little crybaby about it? You know, some of us are big crybabies over things that could easily be resolved with some communication, you know, a little understanding. You know, I can't say that some of the men that I've dated, I haven't done I haven't had the behavior maybe 20 years ago, but I've grown and now I can recognize the behavior and say, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't act that way, or maybe you shouldn't do that. You're a businessman, you're a professional. That's not attractive behavior. That's,
Okay.
That's outside of your character. Maybe you should step your character up a little bit. Sometimes we come back and we help the other person. So it's not always necessarily, okay, I got weak, I
bad thing.
rebounded.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
I will 100% ride with you on that.
You just have to have a strong mind. You have to be.
There are layers to that.
Yes.
Because I think that when you go
Yes,
through
that's
all
not
of the work,
that's not easy.
when you go through all of the work that it has taken you to get to the place where you are, there's something that has to that click inside of you from an intrinsic standpoint that says, okay, now if I go back, you have to ask yourself the questions. Maybe when we were together, the timing wasn't right.
True.
Maybe there were situations and circumstances that prevented us from growing.
Very true.
But this is a conversation you have to have with yourself before you go back and feel good about whatever decision that it is that you make, knowing that if I decide to go back, I might find myself in the same situation again. But if I do, am I at a place that this time I feel I can handle it? Or will it take me completely backwards?
Right.
See, these are conversations that you're going to have. So it is layered. That could very well be the case that the two of you may have stepped away from each other, came back and can appreciate and recognize what you've missed,
Right.
what wasn't there, and you can empower each other and build. But that's not the case for everybody.
No, it is not. No,
That's why you
and
have
sometimes
to
it's
have that
best. And
conversation.
sometimes it is best and to know yourself and to say, look, when I'm around this person, there's a trigger. There's some of us we suffer from a little PTSD. There's always a trigger with certain people. And if that trigger is a negative trigger, you need to keep your distance. Because you have to know your partner also. How much do you want to push this partner? Sometimes you're pushing the partner by pushing up against that partner and not staying away from them.
But see, you shouldn't be at a place where you have to push anybody. You
No,
want to
you should be mature enough
but you just want to be in a situation that's natural and organic.
Right.
It's not something where you have
You're very right.
push, pry, or pull.
Right.
When you got to push, pry, or pull, that's not something that's natural or organic. You shouldn't be in that situation where you got to do those three things. I got to push you, I got to pry, and I got to pull.
True.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And what are you
want
working
something
for?
that's natural and organic that just flows.
Mm-hmm.
See, when it flows because energy is in sync, frequency is right, the vibratory frequency level is in the right place. You guys understand what it means.
You have to play the numbers game to find that?
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
No?
You get into this vortex with who you are. Once you get into this vortex of understanding who you are, you start to attract it. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You attract
That's
it.
that law of attraction.
Absolutely.
That's why you have to know exactly, because here's the thing, I tell women in particular all the time, a strong woman knows how to love, but a stronger woman knows who to love.
That's true.
Very,
That's
very,
deep.
very important.
That's very deep.
The journey to love is not about finding the one. The journey to love is about becoming the one. See, that's that law of attraction. And so when we get into this relapse stage, again, it's layered. That's what I'm saying. There's so many layers.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to do. Another layer that this relapse stage has, it has to do with the fact that modern dating is so doggone hard. They just want to go back to what they know. Because once they got out there,
That
they
is so
discovered,
true.
dang, this thing has changed so much. Modern dating is not what I thought it was. So you end up going back to but again, you go back to comfortability. But now, what do you do for yourself about accountability? Do you choose comfortability over accountability? Sometimes people choose comfortability instead of being accountable to their own. Let me just go back to what I know. Because now that I got on this dating thing, this phase is got a lot of layer to it. It seems that, in this phase, dating is getting harder. And the older you get, you feel like it's harder for nobody wants you because the older you get. And so you start comparing, and then in this phase, you start comparing everyone you meet to the one you broke up with. They don't talk to me like he used to talk to me. They don't touch me like he used to touch me. See, this stage is layered.
It is.
Layered.
No, you're hitting it right on the nose. I mean, you're there. I know from experience, but
So listen, I want to wrap this up. I want to get to this last phase, and then we'll take a break, and I want to come back and tell people how they can and do some commercials here. But the last phase of this is what I call it's just you're just plain old over it. I'm just plain
Peace.
over it. That's that phase 7. I'm just over it. You are finally ready to move on. You got past those layers in that relapse stage, and you were able to progress, and you made a mature, conscious decision, and now you're speaking. Every conversation, you're cautious yet conscious about the conversation that flows out of your mouth. And please catch that, that's very important. You're cautious and you're conscious about every conversation that flows out of your mouth. That's what I call my 3 C's. Be very cautious, be very conscious about your conversation. But now you got past that, and you are cautious and you are conscious about your conversation. And so you are finally ready to move on, and this is your last stop on your way to singlehood bliss. After all the crying, after the healing, you are now sick and tired of just being sick and tired, and this is what turns the page in the end. Not wise words, not anger, not dates, it's not emotional. It's what we call emotional exhaustion. None of that. This may hit everyone in different ways at different times, but it will eventually hit you. And when it does, it's finally over. You are truly saying bye-bye.
Peace.
Namaste. You're finally saying it's over. Bye-bye. I'm done. That's that just being plain all over it. So those are the 7 this is the breakup process, and those are the 7 phases. You guys, if you've been listening to me on 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte, Regi's Recess, where you get real talk about real relationships. Of course, I'm your host, C. Regi Rodgers. My guest has been Rose Christopher. And while we have just a little while left, again, if you want to call on Facebook. If you're watching me right now on Facebook Live, call 909-253-8808. 909-253-8808. Those of you who are in Charlotte, my Charlotte audience on 87.9 Heat FM, 385-212-HEAT. All right, and I air every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 87.9 Heat FM in Charlotte, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can actually catch it if you're on the West Coast. You can hear it in Charlotte. And those of you that watch me on Facebook, every Wednesday I'm on Facebook Live, 12 noon. Okay, so you actually, those of you who watch me on Facebook on midday at noon, you actually are getting a treat before those who get it in Charlotte. So you get to beat them before they even get it in Charlotte on the radio station, so you guys get it before. But we're working where we're going to be on at the same time on both. We're working that. Nice. So in the next few weeks, we will be on at the same time. While you're catching it on Facebook Live, you'll also be able to get it on 87.9 live at the same time. So listen, Rose, you've been an amazing guest tonight.
Thank you.
My serial dater. who has, understands what it means to break up, masters the art of getting back together, to make up. That's what we do.
That's all that we do.
So, how can people find you? Well, tell people a little bit about what you do and how people can find you.
Well, like he said, my name is Rose Christopher, and I am an associate with a company called Legal Shield, and we provide affordable legal access to families, small businesses, and we also offer our service as an employee benefit. My passion behind the business is many times there's a breakup, finances are involved.
Yep.
And I provide an opportunity that actually brings families together where you can stay at home with your kids, work from home, and many times in a relationship there's a lot of stress because one person is working over here, 2 totally different dynamics, and there's really no communication when you come home. So I found a business that is just for the people and for families. So you can find me, Facebook Rose Christopher. My email address is lslegalplans@gmail.com, and my website is www.defineyourdestiny.biz, B-I-Z.
Define Your Destiny www.defineyourdestiny.biz.
Yes.
www.defineyourdestiny.biz.
.biz.
I like it.
I do too.
I like it a lot.
You know, it's like women helping women. I love the aspect of women helping women, man helping man. We're helping to empower people by giving them access to the law. And that seems to be one of the problems right now with COVID. There's a lot of injustice. People are having to sit at home with their kids. You know, people don't understand their rights. So when you can just pick up the phone and call an attorney without having to worry about the hourly cost,
Okay.
you know, that adds value to your household. You may be going through a divorce. You may be going through a business challenge. You need to ask a question about how to navigate through COVID and still stay in business. Many business owners can't afford the legal assistance, and they're, you know, breaking laws that they're not even aware that exist. So, you know,
So you got
people helping, power to the people, baby.
You said power to the people. So listen, I want to empower you ladies. We're doing a campaign. This campaign that we're doing is all about you ladies understanding what it means to be a one-man woman. You're a one-man woman. And so
Can I put this on?
yeah, I want you to model. We're going to model later, but if you want to put it on now, by all means. This is what it is. It's called the one-man woman. I have the V necks. These are V necks for ladies. It's a T. They come in black. They come in white. I also have, let me have that one, Rose. I also have them in tank tops. I have them in black or white tank tops. It's one-man woman. That's it. One-man woman. When you rock this, ladies, what you are showing the world at large, men in particular, that you are a one-man woman. You have a great man. You love that man. You want to show the world, I'm a one-man woman.
Yes.
Maybe you don't have a great man, but you still have the mindset of being a one-man woman. So they also come in the t-shirts, and you can get them in the hats. Now, how do you get these? Good question. I'm so glad you asked me. Go to www.wonman, like you won. Women, you're winning. WONMAN, woman. onemanwoman.com. There you'll find the products. Also, too, you know, ladies, I'm all about empowering. Got the 21-day challenge for you. 21-day challenge, love at first spirit. It's not about you falling in love with his car, his house, his bank account, but it's all about you having an encounter with who he really is in the spirit realm. So your spirit, you become attracted to his spirit. In other words, you learn how to see through to get to. You see through him to get to the real key essence of who he is. This is the 21-day challenge. So it takes you all the way back to strip the layers. Why do you keep picking the same type of guy in different clothes? And you keep having the same results. But different guy just wearing different clothes. Same guy with different clothes, though. Why? I'm going to get you to understand why you have the propensity to pick the same type of guy. So it comes in the book, Love at First Spirit. The book, Love at First Spirit, the 21-day challenge, all about getting you to that place of understanding the difference between love at first sight, lust at first sight, to get you to the ultimate place of love at first spirit. Okay, how do you get that book? Go to www.Regi, R-E-G-I, Rodgers, R-O-D-G-E-R-S, CRegiRodgers.com. Come on, get some of this. It's going to only empower you and what you do and where you are, okay? And you know, this show has been amazing. We have got to go, but before we go, I just want to send a shout out. This is an Action Shot production. Again, another Action Shot production. I've got the greatest producer in the world. In fact, he goes beyond being a producer. We're going to make him a superhero. So he is what we call a super producer. So that puts him into a whole nother stratosphere. That puts him up there with all the superheroes, because he's not just a producer, he's a superhero. And this is an Action Shot production by way of Connoisseur Entertainment. Okay, so thank you, Steven Sebo, for being the producer that you are. Rose, thank you for being my guest. 87.9 Heat FM, Charlotte. It's always my pleasure to be with you every week at the same time every week, where I give you real talk about real relationships on Reggie's Recess. I will see you. Facebook, thank you again. Like this, share this, like it, and share it. I'll see you again next week. Bye.